we have the main event. We got Miss Zoe Renee, one of the main stars from the quad. Let's get this thing popping.
All righty.
Go ahead,
Let's give her a call.
Make sure everybody in the comment section, make sure y'all share
Make sure
share
y'all
this live
share, man.
feed
Make sure
everywhere.
y'all
YouTube,
share. Share this
Facebook,
bitch.
share it everywhere.
They wild,
Yeah,
dog. I can't get my mind off that. Them folks wilding in the car.
All righty,
That's
here
why-
we
that's
go.
why- that's
Here
why-
we go.
that's
We
why I
got
told you to
some-
look.
Hello. All
Hey.
right.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, can we hear? Can she hear?
Oh, I never turned her
There
up.
she go.
Hey.
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 Hold on. I can't even hear. Okay, now I can hear you.
You good?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got you.
Man, we've been trying to get you for 3 years now. We finally got you, man. But yeah.
I know. Listen, here I am. Here
Yeah.
I am.
Okay, so normally what we do is a thing called band facts, but you were never in the band. So what we're gonna do is, I guess, actor facts, right? So
Right.
tell everybody about yourself. Your name, where you're from, what schools you went to. I guess talents and stuff. How you ended up acting.
Yeah. All that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So basically I started wanting to just entertain people. My dad is an entertainer, and I saw kind of the shift and transfer of energy that he was able to give the audience, and the audience was able to give him, and I just thought it was really cool. I didn't know necessarily what path I wanted to take. Was it dancing? Was it acting? Was it singing? It was really tough for me to decide. I knew that because of my dad being a musician and a singer, I probably didn't want to take that path. The shadow was just a little too bright. And then I was like, dancing, let's try it. And that wasn't necessarily the thing that lit me up. And I tried acting last, and that was the thing that really took it over the edge for me. And it stuck.
Yeah. Did you ever try like messing around with like instruments or anything? Like
At least a piano
like
or
a
something
piano?
like that.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm like I don't know what I am, but I'm a master of basically none. I like to think that
Jack of
acting
all
is the
trades.
closest I've got to like being really good at something, or trying to be. But I've tried everything. Piano, drums are something that has stuck a little bit more. But piano, drums, guitar, ukulele, like my apartment is literally covered in instruments that I can almost play. So, it's been, I'm a little bit of a, I try it, I see it type of girl. So.
Okay, so you mentioned that your dad is a musician. Could you tell the viewers a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Let us know who he is.
Yeah, for sure. So my dad is in a group called Arrested Development. His name is Speech. They've been at it for however many years, and just kind of bringing life music to mainstream hip hop. So they've been doing their thing, putting out a positive message, and I think because of that, it's kind of led me to where I am now, and it's been really cool.
Arrested Development. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, I was saving that one for y'all. I knew y'all was gonna like that. All right.
Okay.
So, what was it like growing up and going through school with people knowing Speech was your dad? Were you like extra popular? Were people always trying to invite you to stuff? Did you have a lot of haters?
That's funny. Definitely was not extra popular. I didn't like to say it much. Again, I liked the idea of like my dad was a rapper. I didn't want to say the name. I didn't want to say like anything. I just was like, my dad is a rapper. That's all you need to know. I'm gonna pull up like in a Hummer or something. It was this facade that I was trying to keep going. But for the longest time, most of my friends did not know who my dad was, what he did. And I think it just had to do with the shadow that I was, again, scared of. And so I kept it a secret for a while. And then I started to have some pride in just knowing, what my dad has done and the messages that he's put out into the world. And I think after a while, it just became something that I was so proud of. And now I'm so proud of the legacy that he's built. And it was weird, though. I mean, I was traveling for most of my childhood, so I was homeschooled in and out. I went to public school every once in a while, but the kids definitely did not understand me, and I didn't understand me either. So I was trying to fit in. It wasn't working, but I got through kind of.
Okay. So now moving into your career path in acting, how was that transition for you? Like, who inspired you, and how did you end up landing the role for the choir?
Yeah, so the transition really was an interesting one for me. I remember being maybe like 10, maybe 11 years old, and I was watching Disney Channel, and it got to a point where I literally could not watch Disney Channel anymore because I saw girls like China Anne McClain or Kiki Palmer or whoever was on Disney Channel at the time that looked like me, and I was like, I could be doing this. I could be doing this, but I'm a little too scared. So at that time, I just literally was like not watching TV. I was like searching Google, how do you become an actress? How do you, all this stuff, and it took me going to different, websites and just trying to find out what are the first steps. And for me, that was starting class. I trained for 7 years, just working, trying to get a really good foundation of what it meant to be an actor and tell stories. And then what did I do? Oh yeah, I took a gap year after I graduated high school. I had a whole entire year training out, in LA or, back here in Atlanta. And then I got the call from BET. I auditioned for the quad and I booked it. So it was dope.
Okay. So, once you actually got the role, and started working, so Mia was just telling us that you guys shot at Morehouse, right? So
yeah.
What was that environment like? What was it like, I guess, being around everybody, all the students and stuff, and trying to shoot?
Man, so this is me coming straight out of high school. I hadn't been on Morehouse. I think I may have gone to Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark all in one day for something that I was doing for my high school, maybe just touring the campus. I had a few mentors that had gone to Spelman, and so I saw the campus briefly, but I never expected to be on campus with all the students, like just thrown into this situation where I'm supposed to look like I know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to look like I have a bond with these people. I'm supposed to look like, it was really scary. But I will tell you that the first day that I was on set and also on campus, I had one of the best times. First of all, the students just completely took me under their wing. I was going to parties. I was like, I was everywhere with those people. Like they were so sweet and so kind to the entire. I know. It was crazy. But they were so sweet and so kind to the entire cast. It was just such a beautiful moment for me because I had been wanting to get this experience of what is college, and for my entire life, it didn't look like an HBCU for me. And then as soon as I stepped foot on Spelman, on Morehouse campus, I was like, if I go to college, this is exactly how I want it to be done. So.
Cool.
Everybody needs to experience that.
Hey, everybody
needs
to
it's
experience.
Fire.
Yes, we all live.
Even if it's just one semester, you got to experience it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, we consider you they consider you family. I'm telling you that right now.
Come on.
Yeah, you definitely family. They gonna
Straight up.
anytime you come on campus, they gonna say, "Come on,
Yeah.
come on to the homecoming, everything."
So, back to the choir. Knowing that you weren't in band growing up, what was it like trying to learn the choreography and like how to hold the instrument?
Yeah,
was
how
it
to march
tough for
and
you?
all this
How
stuff.
to march? Yeah, all that.
Oof. You know what? So I did dabble in dance a little bit. So that was a little. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Meaning, just kind of getting familiar with it. Definitely, I had such a fantastic group of people teaching me and just trying to like make sure that I looked the part. Dawn over there, like everybody just was trying to make sure that I looked like I knew what I was doing. But the dance part of it was the thing that kind of connected me to the whole marching part of it. Marching in itself, we took days and days and days out with the band, just trying to get the steps, just trying to figure out how I could look like I knew what I was doing. So boot camp was a real thing. We wanted it to be honest and real, and so I wanted to be out there with everybody and just get it done, and be real and be honest about it. So they didn't shy away from blowing the whistle. They didn't shy away from calling me out. They didn't shy away from anything.
Give you that
So
feeling.
it was
Oh
dope.
man, you got the real band camp
Got the real
experience.
deal.
Right.
That's funny. Yo, so what would you say was your favorite moment on screen? Like,
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell
Okay,
you
so I
what-
have two.
Yeah, I have two
two.
too.
Okay, so I always have dreamt of being able to tie in my dad somewhere. So I thought it was such a cool moment. I kept this secret from my dad for forever. And it was such a small moment, but for him, it was huge. I mean, my dad and my parents have done so much for me, and I wanted to be able to shout them out. And I got to do it over there on BET, and it was amazing. I was talking to Ron Rico. We were in, it's so long ago, but we were in a rehearsal space. This is in the quad, and I'm telling him, like, this next piece that I have is of the likes of, Funkadelic, Arrested Development, Kendrick Lamar, just the most musical, musical types that there ever could be. So that was one of the moments that meant the most. And then I think one of the most just fun days that I've ever had on set was, it definitely would have to be, I guess, that last Battle of the Bands.
Oh yes,
and I got to see Tally do his thing as the drum major. Yeah. I mean, if the show kept going on, like I would hope, fingers crossed, that eventually Noni would get to that spot where drum major was in her future or getting close to it. So I saw it all right there for me, and I was like, oh my gosh, drum major dancing, this is fire.
And from a band head perspective, I mean, your character, she came in cold. Like, it was clear. Like, they were hating on her because she was the most talented freshman in the band. And so when she got cut, they had, when her roommate got hazed or whatever, they didn't have no choice but to bring her on, right? And so when freshmen come in like that, a lot of times, they do end up in leadership roles. And like you said, I could see, Noni as a drum major in a future series. And, that'll be a good spinoff, So you're 100% correct on that.
They gotta bring that back, like you said.
Yeah, they gotta bring that back, man.
Back.
Just the band portion. They can bring back the band portion. I promise you, they will get hits off of that.
Hey, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yes. Oh, I'll tell you what though. One of the funniest, y'all don't understand. So as band heads, one of the funniest things y'all said during the show was, ever since I saw them perform at Alcorn, I became a fan.
Bruh.
Come on.
They sure did mention
You
Alcorn.
have no clue how funny that was to us, because this guy right here will tell you, he used to go to Alcorn games growing up just to watch the other bands. Sorry, Alcorn, I ain't trying to stun on you or anything. But
got kind of dark in here.
But Alcorn is like the pivotal, I guess, of HBCU marching bands. A lot of us get to see Alcorn. Alcorn's always gonna give you a good battle.
Come on, I love it.
That was just ironic that you said that. My other favorite moment was, of course, when you were doing the Battle of the Bands, right? And something had happened with the music. The band director heard his song being played by the other band, and then the band director blamed the drum major or whatever, right? They got into this little verbal altercation, right? And then the drum major, he was like, you know what? I quit. And then so right as that happens, Zoe put her middle finger up like that. I was like, oh, she set him up.
Hey, man.
That moment was hilarious. So now going back, looking at the whole series, it's like, man, she went from like really shy and humble to, I'ma get him. And she sure enough, she got him back for hazing her roommate, man. I loved it. I loved how the band portion of that ended. So that was well done on their end.
I'm so glad you guys liked it. It's really cool to hear you guys and just kind of have commentary about it coming from band history and just experience. Like, what I have to say is that our showrunner Felicia, we everybody over there at the quad was trying to do their best to make it an honest depiction of what band and marching band and HBCU culture is. And I think had we been able to go on, I think you guys would have seen so much more of it. And so I'm happy you guys got some laughs out of it, and we got it right, hopefully.
Oh yeah. So having finishing the series, have you thought? Of course, you said it earlier. You said if you could go to college, it would be like the Spelman Morehouse experience.
Yeah.
What schools would you think about going to? Like, if you could, Spelman Morehouse.
Spelman Morehouse, Howard, of course. I've thought about this so much because after the quad ended, actually, I was like, all right, maybe this is my chance to kind of go out there and do it now. And then, of course, the way that this industry works is it's hopefully, God willing, on to the next thing. And it was for me. And so I'm trying to find a moment to go, trying to find a moment to even just take a class and kind of just sit in. I want to spend a lot more time there. And Atlanta's home for me. So I absolutely could see myself just hanging out as Spellman and hopefully being able to take a class when things open up again. And,
Well, don't worry. You got a home at Texas Southern University.
Come on, Texas Southern
had to
University.
had to throw that plug in there real quick. All right, so my last question. My last question. All right, so you're still pretty early into your acting career. Even though the quad didn't make it to season 3, it's safe to say you still had a pretty successful experience with the overall project. What do you plan on doing next? You currently on another set? Is there something big you're working on that you have to keep secret? Will we see you on the big screen soon?
Yes. So after the quad, I had such a cool experience of bringing back to life a childhood book that we all hopefully have heard about or maybe even read. I went straight into filming Nancy Drew, and it was amazing.
Okay.
It was such a fantastic journey. It made me feel like a kid again. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then after that, I did a couple indie projects. One called Jen, which I think you guys should all check out on Amazon. We got time now. Mm-hmm. And then now I'm shooting a horror film.
Oh, I love scary movies.
Because we're in the pandemic. It's we had to stop production, but.
No.
Coming up soon, I'll be going back to work, hopefully. And we're shooting this production, and it is actually based on a kid that's going into college again, and it's a predominantly white school. So it's completely different from my first experience, but it's been interesting seeing how different these campuses are and just kind of seeing it from a different point of view. But it's a horror film, and it'll be on Amazon Prime as well.
So you have melanin in your skin. So will you make it to the end of this horror film?
Yeah, would you make it? Would you make it?
You know what? That's such a great question. I think that's a good question. That's a great question. And I think that's for you guys to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
don't
please,
spoil it.
definitely.
All right.
So,
hold on. Do you know when it's coming out?
I don't. Now that this pandemic is in full effect, I have no clue. I actually don't even know when I'm going back to work. We got maybe the first, maybe 15% of the movie done. So I have no
clue. Be a
clue.
minute before it come out.
Yeah, probably next year sometime. Yeah, end of next year.
See you 2021, man.
All right.
But, come on.
We got a couple of questions from the comments. One of our questions asks, what do you think of HBCU band culture as a whole?
I think it's beautiful. I think honestly, there's not, I don't know if there's enough live experiences of Black people just showing how talented we are. I just, obviously we see our Beyoncés and we see our beautiful people that can do it solo up on a stage, but I think there's something so special about seeing a group of people who have spent hours and hours and hours out in the sun, out in the hot, with instruments heavy as can be, marching in sync as one. I think it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed. And I think for me, if you have never been to a battle of the bands, if you don't know what this culture is about, I just think you're missing out on a huge part of life.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, we miss out on a whole bunch of stuff, dog.
Yeah.
You know how many parties we miss out on? Homecoming events.
Right.
Can't go to no concerts.
Nothing.
right.
Oh,
Practice.
man.
Practice.
We be at practice. Everybody jamming behind us. We like, we want to go hang with
talking
them,
about
prof.
And then prof be like, hey, you want to go over there? Stay your ass right here.
Right. Oh, and don't get caught. Don't get caught at a party after you miss practice.
Straight up, bro.
Oh man.
Oh, where was you at?
Y'all can miss practice.
Right.
All right.
What's the next question?
Our next question asks, what is your favorite HBCU band?
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. There's absolutely no way you're going to give me the answer to that question.
Well, do you have a few of them?
Yeah.
Or some, yeah, name
At
some.
least 3 of them.
Again?
At least 3. Do you have 3 that you know of?
All right, so I have to say, I feel like I have to say, just go ahead and say Morehouse is right here with my top.
Okay.
Like I have to say that I train with everybody over there. I'm very proud of it.
Okay.
And then I probably would say Florida.
FAMU.
Florida A&M.
FAMU.
Yeah, FAMU.
And Nika Ronnie Rose is, alum there, so, and then
Bethune-Cookman.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't
That's
know.
good enough. Two are
Yeah,
fine.
that's good.
Morehouse
Two are fine, right?
Yeah,
That's
Morehouse
good.
and FAMU. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, do we have any more questions? And that's it.
No, that's it.
All
That's
right.
it.
So, Zoe, thank you so much for coming on our show today. Before we go, is there any social media you'd like to share with us? Tell them how we can keep up with you, how our band heads can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow me at the Zoe Renee on Instagram. That's pretty much all I'm on. I'm not too big into the social media thing, but you guys can follow me over there. I am posting me and my family and my everyday life. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I know we've been trying to get this worked out for a while, and I appreciate you guys hanging tough. And I also appreciate you guys being a show that is talking about things that are just important and in our culture and lifting it up and being a light for that. And I think it's so cool and so dope, and it's important.
Oh, yeah.
Representation. We love it.
Yeah. So once again, thank you for coming on our show. Definitely send us your shirt size too, man. We're gonna send you some. But
for sure, absolutely.
All right. So that's it. Thanks again. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
All right.